First Spin. Welcome to First Spin, a show where I learn how to use the parallax propeller without having any prior programming experience. And rather than do this on my own, I have enlisted the help of two experts. Hi,
Much
guys.
to their pain and suffering.
Hey, there is no pain and suffering involved in
and
this.
beaten.
I don't think so. I have to do all this stuff by myself.
That
And
is
then
not
come with
true.
questions. And then
That
come
is
with
so
questions.
100% not true.
Yes. Because
All by yourself.
no, I mean like to do the research and stuff. A
yeah,
lot of
the research
a lot
that
of
you
research
do with
goes
direction
into it.
from us.
So let me get this straight. The
Pish posh.
years of work and research that we've done to be able to answer your questions don't count.
Nope.
But the 1 hour a week that you spend getting ready, or 2 hours, 3 hours hacking on stuff does count.
Correct.
I see.
Correct. I am
Uh-huh.
the center of the universe.
Right.
I am the cog, the hub.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are merely the peripherals.
Uh-huh. You hear this, folks?
Oh, so how are you guys doing this week?
Terrible.
Terrible. Whistler's doing terrible. So you just had like Fanta orange soda. How could you be terrible after that?
Easy.
It's the ester of rose in
He
it.
didn't have a stick to go with his Fanta
A stick? What would you need a stick for?
to make it fantastic.
Okay, we've had some bad puns on the show, Roy, but I think that's a winner right there.
Oh, that's a new one. I've never heard that one before. That's
That's
pretty.
an old one.
That's pretty funny.
They're all new to Addie.
And how are you doing this week, Roy?
I'm doing fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Valve is treating you well.
Yep.
Awesome. All right.
I got a haircut at Valve.
What?
They had a new service where they these
They just come to your
ladies
desk
from
with some scissors
No.
and they're like,
have
yeah.
like they have an area set up like a 1-seat barber store.
That is so cool. Do they do chick
Well,
haircuts
I had to
too?
pay, but
Well, yeah, but
but
do
it's
they?
convenient because it was right there.
Yeah. Did he do a good job? He, she do a good job?
She did a good job, yes.
Fantastic. You know, it's very difficult to find a good hair cutter. I know it's not the point of First Spin, but, you know, whatevs.
They're from a salon, a local salon.
I see. Maybe it's like haircuts that can fit in the propeller beanie.
I forgot that there was actually something good this week.
What?
Other than being abused by Addie.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah, so I put up a new podcast this week. First episode.
It is true.
Yep.
It doesn't have me in it either.
No, thank goodness.
I was gonna say that
I mean,
must make it much
the
better.
efficiency of recording is like,
What?
you know, it's a half-hour show, and, you know, it takes us maybe 40 minutes. Maybe, tops. With Addie, it's like 3 hours
It
to
does
put together a half-hour
not.
show. Seriously.
Dude,
Um,
what are you talking about?
Okay, so my new podcast
Horrible.
is with a record producer named Shane Ward.
Yeah.
And we spend a half hour each week talking about audio equipment, producing audio, recording studios, live sound, bands, guitars, amps, whatever. So if you're into that kind of thing, you guys can check it out over at patchbay.tv. If you're not into audio stuff, that's cool too. Stick with your first spin.
Yeah. Stick with Addie. That's right.
Well, it's not a competition.
Just saying.
Just saying.
Just saying.
I'm not in it either.
Actually, I think Whisker had a bit of a anxiety attack when he realized I wasn't there to help do the laugh track, you know?
Yeah.
Because Whisker's...
You don't
kinda
have to
the-
laugh on this show because every time anybody says anything, even if it's not funny, Addie's like, ha 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 ha. Why are we laughing? We're not, Addie.
Shut up.
Just you.
I'm easily amused. All right?
You're laughing right now.
I know, but that's because that's silly. Whisker's being silly. That being said, yes, if you guys are interested in audio engineering or just hearing stories from, record producing things,
Yeah.
then
This guy
do
gets to
check that
produce
out.
interesting stuff too,
patchbay.tv.
like Aboriginal Native music in Canada.
In Canada.
So like big drum circles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. Yeah. Check it out.
I like drums.
So I have a question.
No.
It does VGA transmit sound as well? Or is that
Nope.
like
No.
no.
VGA is video signal only.
Oh.
I bet you
So
there's
how do
enough
you sync
extra
the
pins
two?
in that cable that you could probably do it, but there would definitely
Mm.
be artifacts between the two.
So how do you sync audio
You
and
don't.
video?
You play audio at the same time that you have video going out.
So that's how they did it back in the day?
Typically, you
Well,
had separate audio cable for your sound than you do for your video back then. Now they run them both down HDMI.
Oh, see.
but it's still separate channels, and it's still the source synchronizes, not the cable or the resultant TV.
The source. Oh,
So
interesting.
you could have, even with modern HDMI or something like that, you could still have out of sync audio if the source feeding the signal
Is out
through
of
the
sync.
cable was out of sync.
I see. Very interesting. Okay.
Synchronization is outside of
Yeah.
the scope. of what we're
HDMI
talking-
is just a digital, it's basically a really, really fast serial cable, all right? So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you're packetizing the information into a serial format and then, unpacking it on the other side. Where the VGA cable is completely analog. So, you're sending waveforms down that thing
Mm-hmm.
and, well, levels, I should say. And then with the audio cable, you're sending, an audio signal down. And yeah, if you put those things close to each other, they're probably going to interfere with one another. So it wasn't really something that they wanted to do.
So they switched everything to HDMI.
They've
Well,
slowly been switching everything over to digital formats.
Oh.
Yeah.
I see. So, yes. So as you might have guessed, this week we are going to finally get the heck away from Sigma Delta.
Thank goodness.
Although I still have much research I want to do. But anyway, we're going to get away from Sigma Delta and we're going to head on over to another, I think, complex thing, but seems to be pretty easy to most others. VGA on the propeller. And hopefully you guys have all gotten your Propeller BOE, the Board of Education, and
I had some, but somebody took them all.
maybe.
I have
like-
mine.
I literally
these are
have not
like-
been able to play with a prop BOE yet, and we've had them for 9 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's because
That's 'cause
it's my little
Daddy
baby.
hogs them up.
Dude, they're great. Like, they're amazing. They've got plugs for everything. They have plugs for servos and sound.
You need to get
and
Parallax to send one specifically for Whisker that Addie's not allowed to use.
not possible. I will just end up taking it.
Yeah, that's probably true.
And
If
then
they want to send me stuff, they should send me like raw chips, because that's my kind of.
Because then Addie won't be able to do anything with
Yeah.
it.
wait. With raw chips, you have to figure out how to hook everything together.
That's easy.
That's easy?
Yeah.
You need to check my schematic then. I didn't think that you knew how to hook up a propeller chip, because if you do, that means you need to check my
Well, I don't know
LED
how to
heart
do it
schematic.
with all of your
Oh, you
surface
see?
mount stuff. I can do it on
Well,
a
it's just-
breadboard easy enough, though.
Wait. Yeah, but you know the schematic, so
Well, the bare bones schematic that uses what do they call that little uh, serial to USB?
yeah.
FTDI chip.
Yeah, they're what do they call it? Their prop.
Prop plug. Yeah, I
Prop
I
plug.
need to do that on mine too.
Yeah.
But so
Pretty
you
simple with
know
just
how
a-
to. See, Whisker's been holding
do not
out.
know how to do your surface mount layout
Whisker's been holding out.
for your.
Dude,
On the- on the-
It
SMT.
is different for the surface mount chip versus the dip chip.
And you wanted to
That
set it
much?
up with like decoupling caps and all that.
But you're
sort of
supposed
thing,
to.
So your schematic is a lot more simple than what I would be doing on a breadboard.
A lot more simple.
A lot more complicated.
No, but you're supposed to put decoupling capacitors.
Yeah, well, see, on the dip chip, there's only one set of power rails, so you only have one decoupling cap.
Oh, so it's easier to set up.
On the surface mount chip, you have 4 sets of power in out pins, and so you really technically should have 4 decoupling caps.
For those confused, I've been working for the past forever on this LED heart project, and I'm trying to get into a board form, which is my very first one. And I'm trying to make all the parts as small as possible, hence surface mount. And the surface mount prop, which is I believe a QFP, QFN,
QFP.
QFP.
They do have QFNs, but it's a QFP.
Yeah. So the QFPs, like between the power rail and the ground rail, and there's 4 sets of these, one on each side. You have to put a decoupling capacitor, I think, to get rid of noise.
Right.
So, that's all fine and good, but I had to get
Just so
my
you know,
schematic verified.
QFP versus QFN, the P means it's got the little pins sticking out.
I see. And
They
then
stick
the
out
N
of the
is
side
no
and come
pins.
down. And the QFNs, they go they're on
Underside.
the bottom.
Yeah. Okay.
They're around the edge, but they're on the bottom.
Got it. So QFP, because that'll be easier to solder up. But anyway, so I'm working on that. Okay, back to VGA. So, I've always been kind of intimidated by VGA because visual things are a new dimension, I think.
Well, it's also because it requires PASM to do correctly.
Yeah.
Get
which
good video.
I don't understand. But who knows? This might become first PASM instead of first spin. So we'll see.
We got a ways to go on the spin part.
You think so?
Thus exposed by Addie's inability to do VGA. You need to do VGA TV out. We got this DVI board sitting here that Roy picked up at the last expo.
Yeah.
You need to learn how to use that and do something awesome with it. And that's got a bunch of outboard acceleration stuff.
Well, why do I need to do the DVI thing?
You got to do it all. You got to be an expert. Then we can move on to PASM.
Yeah. So
I can learn
at least
something.
For video on the prop, typically most people just use one of the pre-made video drivers, either VGA or for TV, they use the TV one.
Mm-hmm.
I like the TV one.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think
You're
I've
old
seen that
school.
one
You
yet.
like to hook up a composite monitor.
Yeah.
But so Chip went off originally, and he made these 2 drivers for VGA and composite video in PASM, and a lot of people just use those. They come with the prop tool. They're on the Object Exchange also, but they're easy to use because Chip made them easy to use.
Mm-hmm.
And they come with spin wrapper things like VGA text, which allow you to just draw text on a screen that's 32 by 15.
What do you mean draw text?
So like you print text. So like you would output a text string on a particular line of the display, and it'll come out on the display on that line. It's just drawing text.
It's really awesome.
I mean, you like take a mouse and you just...
No. I mean, like, you enter commands to print out words that you want it to say, and they will come out on the screen.
Oh, I see.
The driver is doing the drawing.
That's cool.
Right.
I don't think I've seen that one, but that's also because...
That's the one that I was telling you that you should start with.
I think that would require that I use the demo board instead of...
You got your VGA working.
No, I do, but I don't have... I can't connect a mouse and keyboard.
Well, you don't need to have a keyboard. You can have it print stuff on the screen without you typing stuff in for it to print.
Yeah. I'm not talking about one where you draw or anything like using a mouse or anything. I'm just talking about, when I say draw, I just mean the driver draws the pixels onto the screen appropriately for whatever you tell it to display.
I see. Okay.
So,
well, let me first back up and...
You know how you use
your
your serial terminal to debug your code?
Mm-hmm.
It's just constantly printing stuff out across the serial terminal.
Mm-hmm.
You can instead have it print to your VGA monitor.
Yeah, that's what the code that we're going to look at does. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I get it. I get what you mean.
It's very similar.
I get what you mean. So let me first, since we were talking about the prop BOE, let me first tell you guys how to hook your prop BOE to your VGA. So if you look at your prop BOE with the power switch down, on the left-hand side, you see that big bulky plug thing. That's your VGA header. One of our computer monitors is VGA compatible, so I pretty much just plugged this prop BOE into the monitor. That was that. And so the wires, if you look at the middle headers, you'll see a VGA, R0, R1, G0, G1, B0, B1, H, and V. So the R is to red, and there are 2 red LEDs next to those labels. The G is to control green, and those are next to 2 green LEDs. The B's are to control blue, and those are next to 2 blue LEDs. And then H is for the horizontal sync, and V is the vertical sync. So, like, old school TVs, like, I totally screwed up my parents' vertical sync. We could never fix it. My dad got so angry about that. I was like, I was just trying to fix it. And, well, we never got the vertical sync to sync back up. So every show I had to recalibrate it. Anyway, so horizontal, vertical, and I think those are like yellow LEDs.
So the red, green, and blue, the reason there's 2 is that it's 2 bits per color. So you get 4 shades of red and 4 shades of
cool.
green and 4 shades of blue, which technically is really only 3 shades of red and then black, right?
I see.
0 is off and 1 is fully on.
So these are basically driving 2-bit down.
Right. Yeah, and on the BOE board, there's already the appropriate resistors between the pins and the connector.
So for Eddie's brain there, if you've got none turned on, you'd 0 volts down the line. If you got 1 turned on, it's a certain amount of volts down the line. If you've got 2 turned on, certain voltage going down the line.
Right, and it's actually there's 2 different
resistors. So yeah, you get all 4 values then.
Yeah, so when there's 1 turned on, it's 1 voltage. When the other one is turned on and the first one is turned off, you get a different voltage. And then when they're both on, you get a third voltage. So you have 0 volts to almost 1 volt. I think 1 volt is the full on.
Interesting.
The others
all
are
of them?
in between. And that's for all 3, red, green, and blue.
What's the significance of that?
And do we know how?
Like, what?
Well, it's just that it's 2-bit per component color.
Okay.
So 2 bits of red, green, and blue.
Eddie, do you remember how to make colors with RGB in like HTML or something? Where you've got like a byte for red, 0 to 255. A byte for green.
Maybe.
0 to 255.
Yeah, maybe. I just know it more in like MS Paint.
So like a color would be like FF would be white.
Sure.
0000000 would be black.
Sure.
FF0000 would be
red.
I have
Yes,
no idea.
Roy, we know you know. You do graphics for a living.
Red. I knew that. I came up with that all by myself.
It's a byte per color.
All right. So instead of a byte here, we're talking 2 bits.
Okay.
Right.
Per color. And those are represented by voltages between your prop board and the monitor. And obviously a better graphics card could represent a hell of a lot more voltages than just the 4. But the prop is using a very simple 2-bit stack on each one of those colors. So it can only do 4 colors for each.
Red, green, and blue.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah, I got that part already.
Then why'd you ask?
Well, I just didn't know why the voltages mattered.
Well, the voltage is how it determines how bright the red is, right? So 0 volts is no red, and 1 volt is full-on bright red.
So it's
on the red channel.
So red gets up to 1 volt, green gets up to 1 volt, blue gets up to 1 volt.
Right, and they're all on separate channels, so they're independent from each other.
I see. Okay.
They're not mixed together or anything like that. It's green goes out all on its own channel to the monitor, and the monitor interprets the voltage on the green to drive the green output.
I see. Okay.
Now, with the syncs, is it does the horizontal first and then clicks a vertical and then it does another horizontal?
Yeah, well, you do the horizontals it's a pulse like every pixel. So it's pulsing across the line, and then vertical is a pulse to cause it to pull the gun back to the beginning of the line,
Did that make
So-
sense,
I
Eddie?
see.
So when you're drawing a screen, right, you're
So it's
doing
drawing horizontal line,
pulses.
horizontal line, horizontal
It's
line.
not per pixel. I said pixel, but I meant line. So each horizontal line going across, it causes a horizontal sync to occur,
Yeah.
and then the vertical sync causes it to reset back to the top,
Okay. Yep. I got it.
right?
I got it.
And of course, it's changing the voltage on the red, green, and blue for each pixel as it goes across the horizontal line.
Right.
Right. Yes.
So if you were to hook it up to a scope, you would see the horizontal line stay on for, or, go on for a second, then turn off, and then you'd see all the color lines going a whole bunch of times to draw a line, and then you would see the horizontal one go again, a whole bunch of color lines, and that would repeat for however many lines, and then you'd see the vertical one come on for a second and go off, and that would cause it to restart.
and go right back to the top.
Right.
I
Right.
see. So like H is kind of like the PHS PHSX31, and V is like the carry bit.
Yeah, or you
Kinda.
could say, one is
Kinda.
like on a typewriter, it's the line feed. And then you've got your whole new page thing. You pull it out and put in a new page.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got to get back to the hardware here. So so this header, what you want to do if you're only working with the VGA is you want to take R0 and you want to put a wire between that and pin 15. And then R1 pin to pin 14, G0 to pin 13, then on and so forth until you get to like I think pin 8. And the thing is, when you put these wires in, they have to be consecutive. So
Mhm.
it can't be like the reds go to 14 and 15 and then the greens go to 10 and 12. It has
Right.
to be 15, 14, 13, 12, and so on.
Yeah.
Or
They have to be
8, 7, 6,
even.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, you could hook them up any way you want, but you're going to get some interesting stuff happening on your
True.
screen.
True.
But if you want it to look correct,
Right.
you need to hook it up as a consecutive set of 8 wires, and they all need to be on a bank starting at either 8 or 16 or 24 or 0.
Oh, okay.
Because the propeller can actually drive video on any of those, for VGA, any of those 4 sets of pins.
Wait, so I can't do it on like 1?
Well, it has to start at 0 because it needs 8 total and they have to be aligned.
Right.
So
So but
it's
you
0
could do
through 7.
but you could do like 1 through 8.
No,
You can't?
no.
Oh.
It has
0
to be
through
0
7.
through 7 or 8 through 15 or 16.
Because it's actually like sort of hardwired inside the chip.
Yeah.
Oh, good to know. Good to know. So in terms of like hooking it up, that's actually pretty easy. You just
Yeah.
have the 8 wires, you have your VGA cable to your monitor, and voila. That's it. That's that. So then I
wouldn't get too in depth with what you're doing because we're going to cover that next week. But if there's
the-
anything more about the hardware you wanted to ask, now would be the time.
I'm trying to think.
Sometimes
What
it
if-
takes a while.
Hey, what if you wanted like a filter to affect the signal? Actually, I guess this doesn't make sense.
No.
I was wondering if like a filter could affect the signal going to a pin that was connected to one of the RGB pins, but I guess that wouldn't make sense because it's the software that's actually driving the pins, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're using the driver, the VGA driver, which is using the wait vid instruction, which is PASM. You can use it from spin, but not very efficiently. But it's primarily using PASM to drive the video display.
And we have to use PASM? Like,
Pretty much.
like
you
if
wanna-
I were
you
willing
want-
to make a ridiculously slow spin driver.
Right, but the thing is that the video display is going at a high enough rate, and it has to go at that rate to draw the screen.
Uh-huh.
So what you would end up with is a very low resolution.
Okay, but
You
what
might
if
only get a few pixels across the screen, and
what if you did like a 10 by 10 pixels?
I don't
thing?
think you could even get that. I think
Really?
it might be like 1 or 2 pixels. Like
It's like,
it's
oh
going
wait,
super fast,
I
right?
think I see that pixel. Okay, so it's not.
I mean, I
And
may
that
be a
makes
little
sense
bit
because you
off.
think about how many pixels there are on a computer monitor, and how fast is that monitor churning away to make sure it refreshes that entire screen at least 60 times a second.
Yeah, going super fast.
So it's 60 times per second that is
That's
refreshing?
the minimal refresh rate that you'd want to have. Anything lower than that, you'd probably get a pretty bad headache.
Oh, like you get an epileptic seizure.
I know they give me a headache under 60. I prefer 70 or 80.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although LCD displays work differently and they don't really have a refresh rate.
Yep.
And what are the
But I'm
voltage?
talking CRT. This is
Yeah.
where this technology came from, the
Mhm.
VGA.
Exactly.
We're literally talking about magnets steering a what is an
Electron.
ion beam,
Mm-hmm.
exciting phosphors on inside of a CRT tube, and it's aiming that beam zoop 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 back and forth, and then back up to the corner on a screen. That's where this all comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm sure they could probably come up with much better ways to do it.
Yeah.
Now, what are the voltage requirements for this thing? For getting VGA to work?
What do
Just
you mean?
whatever it'll take to power the board?
0 to 1.
Yeah. No, it's
Oh,
just the output pins from the propeller running through those resistors is enough to drive the VGA signal.
Is that why you asked me for the little switch mode power supply?
Maybe.
You were worried about it?
Partly that, but partly because my my programming cable wasn't long enough to get to this on my desk, so I had to just have an external power source. So I'd program it, put it in the EEPROM, and then stick it, take out the programming cable and then stick it onto the power cable, and then hook it to the thingy. Oh, well, I guess we're actually gonna go through this next time.
Yep.
Dang it. All right. So sorry if you guys thought we were gonna go through code.
Oh, we will.
Next week.
Yep.
We'll go through
Next
next week. Okay. Other than that, I guess I am pretty good on terms of hardware. It's actually really super easy, but
Yep.
I think it's more intimidating than I
So what's the verdict?
or it's less intimidating than I thought it would actually be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thankfully,
But we haven't seen the code yet.
the
that's a-
drivers that
That's a bit of
Chip Gracey put together
Is that
for
enough?
the TV and VGA out
Yeah.
are very, very good. So
Yeah, there's other drivers written by some other people that do fancier graphics and whatnot, but
like, what if I want to make emoticons?
you can make them. I mean, you can do colon curly brace, right, or colon parenthesis.
No, like cute ones, like
yes, you
like
can do text.
well,
So
up caret
then you need
underscore up
graphics.
caret.
you don't need.
If you want to
graphics.
actually make little graphical emoticons, then you'd have to use graphics.
She's gonna do it in text.
Like ASCII.
Yeah.
No, not ASCII. Like up caret underscore up caret.
That's ASCII.
Oh, it is.
ASCII.
All right, fine, ASCII.
Text. Text mode is what you want.
What's the difference between text?
She's got an idea. I don't want to give her idea away, but we'll get there.
We're excited.
I'm not. She's excited though.
I'm super excited. I drew faces in anticipation.
Yeah, there's like post-it notes stuck everywhere. They have little emoticon faces all over them.
She's gonna draw them all over her VGA monitor.
Yep.
Yes, but in a very organized fashion.
Uh-huh.
We shall see.
Fourth dimension.
Wahaha.
Emoticons in the fourth dimension.
Da-da-da.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right.
Yep. That's all the time we have for this week.
We're like done with the hardware. How to kill 2 minutes.
Huh?
Just kidding. Go on. All right. You're good.
Don't have 2 minutes. Sorry. That's all the time we have for this week. You guys can find this show every week at firstspin.tv. There's an RSS feed there. If you want to subscribe with your phone or
RSS
iTunes
feed.
or with your phone or iTunes or something like that.
Yeah.
Or you can just push play on the page. It's
Correct.
really easy.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.